one way that the pharmaceutical companies keep these TV companies in their back pocket is they fund them. Some of these programs and shows would go out of business if they didn't have pharmaceutical funding. So their content is completely controlled by what the pharmaceutical companies want to hear. He who provides, you know, the saying about he who provides the gold makes the rules. That's the golden rule, if you will. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also exposes things that the pharmaceutical companies are doing that most people are not aware of. And here's one of those things that kind of blew my mind away. I had heard a casual statement from Robert F. Kennedy to this effect, but I didn't really concentrate on it. And look how important this is. The 9 CDC guys in their article about the great work of the CDC talked about the fact that they have conducted such a successful campaign against smoking. And smoking is, in fact, gone down. People smoke less than they used to. But here's something I didn't know that I learned from our Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and that is that when smoking rates dropped, the tobacco companies started investing and buying up food companies. Did you know this? So essentially what they did is that they went from making one addictive product, tobacco, to now making our food more addictive. Let me quote RFK Jr. By the mid-1990s, the 2 biggest food companies in the world were R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris. I have to admit, I did not know this. The scientists who worked on nicotine, the scientists who worked on cigarettes, are now working on, according to RFK, making our food more addictive. So we are, by and large, tempted to buy food that benefits these companies rather than benefits our health. And you might say, well, why isn't the government telling us this? Because the government is kind of in on it. They are also the people who are getting money. And so this is the threat that RFK Jr. poses. And so what we have here in this internal document is let's use powerful messaging in which we don't put the pharmaceutical companies out front, because if they put the head of Merck or the head of Pfizer, everybody goes, oh yeah, you're the guy ripping me off. So they don't want that. What do they want instead? Well, according to this document, what they want is politicians who are seen as kind of centrist, but are nevertheless, in a sense, obliged to or beholden to Big Pharma. Let's put those guys out front so that they can give a kind of objective opinion, which of course is not objective at all. I was actually kind of alarmed to see my former employer, the American Enterprise Institute, listed as a, quote, trusted conduit for pro-vaccine messaging. So again, what's going on here is that these pharmaceutical companies want to use politicians, use media, use think tanks, all to put out a message that somehow Robert F. Kennedy Jr. poses a grave threat to our health, when in truth, the only thing he poses a grave threat to is their obscene profit.